nepotism. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, it is, quote, favoritism based on kinship. I say this because as I review this book, there's going to be people who will look at the rating I give it and say, oh, you're just afraid to hurt a friend's feelings. No. If this book was dog shit, I'd say so. I'd be like, sorry, Kavin, it's crap. It's not. Not in the least bit. But know that even though I offered to review this book, and I know the writer personally, I have no bias towards people I like. So now that I've said that, let's get down to business. Asher, My Son was written by Kavin J. Lay. Kavin and I go back a ways. Kind of. We went to school together. High school. He was a couple years ahead of me. We were both in band at one point, in the same section, and he was a drum major for a couple of years. We even went to the same college for a small period of time. He's currently the director of the local community band, and as you've probably noticed, he's also a published author. In 2016, he and his wife Betsy tragically lost their son Asher after he was born stillborn. If you don't know what stillborn means, that means that he died while in the womb and was delivered dead. Kavin kept a journal chronicling the year after his son's death, where he talks about loss, coping with grief, and that tragic day, and the journal was later published into the book that I'm now reviewing. Basically what I'm saying is, I cried like a bitch reading this. I think a part of it was I know the people involved. Kavin was always a very happy person in school, very kind and considerate. He and his wife did not deserve the tragedy that befell them. But the book itself is a very well-written, in-depth look into the grieving process and what a person goes through after losing someone close to them. I've never actually reviewed a non-fiction book on this channel, so it's odd not having a story to critique or a plot summary to give. What makes this book far better than any other non-fiction book is that while it is a very well-written look into a broken man and how he and his wife dealt with tragedy, and grew closer for the experience and learned to move on, it's also a very good book for anyone struggling with grief. Anyone who has ever lost a loved one and is having a hard time letting go, or is just having a hard time moving on, should read this. Even if the situation in the novel is different than what you're going through in real life. Some of the things Kavin and Betsy do in order to cope, like writing poetry, surrounding themselves with loved ones, making music, mandalas, they're all great ways of coping. It also shows that grief can change you, and in the case of these two, it changed them for the better. It's sad what happened, but Kavin even says so himself in the book that he isn't the same man he used to be. If I had any complaints about this at all, is that sometimes when it jumps from the present to talking about the day that Kavin and Betsy lost their son, it can be a little jarring. Nothing worth complaining about too much. That was really the only little problem I had with this thing. So yeah, Kavin, if you're watching this, thank you for mailing me a copy. It's fantastic. It's genuinely one of the best books I've read this year. And I'm not saying that because I know you. Also, you made me cry, so you're officially a jerk. As for everyone else, you can find Asher, My Son on Amazon. I will post a link in the description below. I'm gonna give it an A+.